All right, let's get started. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم فقهنا في الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, we are going to be continuing our discussion. You can ignore the Arabic date because it's from the previous batch. And yeah, subhanAllah, we taught it some 3-4 years ago. Um, Inshallah, we're going to be continuing our discussion of Surah Al Anbiya, and we're going to be doing Ayat 76 to 112 today. So we're continuing the discussion on the prophets. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ونوحا, and Nuh إذ نادى من قبل, when he called to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from before. فاستجبنا له, so we responded to him. فنجيناه, and we saved him, وأهله, and his family, من الكرب العظيم, from the great affliction, from the great uh, pain, if you will. What was the great pain? The flood. We know the story of Nuh alayhi salam. He called people to Islam for over 950 years. And the people who responded to his call were just a few, around, they say it's around 80 or even less than 80, right? So subhanallah, so people did not respond to his call. One of the biggest lessons that I take for myself from the life of Nuh alayhi salam is the comparison between success, quote unquote success, and effort, right? Our job, my people, is to put in the effort. It's success, whatever definition of success is for you, it is from Allah only. Perhaps you're putting into your best a little more than what you can put in, but you're not getting the kind of results that you want, right? Just imagine that if you had like 80 followers on Facebook or Instagram, what do people think? Ah, just 80 followers. No, I'm not coming to your podcast. No, I'm not responding to your phone calls. No, who are you anyway? So, this is something that we need to keep in mind, that efforts is not equal to success. Efforts is not equal to numbers, right? What is expected of us is to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to do, to keep putting in the effort. Result is in the hands of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, elsewhere in Surah Najm, inshallah, we're going to be studying, لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى, that for human beings, just the effort, they just get the reward of their efforts, right? Or to be to be the little less crude in translation, you just get what you put in the effort for. So effort is something that is acknowledged. We don't need to get the numbers. We don't need to get, perhaps you're teaching Quran in just a small place, in a uh, in a when we learned Quran, I happened to learn it through different life phases, and probably it was uh, one of those phases that I was studying in one of the madrasas that had, barely 6-7 people could fit in there. Barely. But subhanallah, we graduated, and all the sadka jariya of hopefully whatever we are doing, our baji will be sharing that sadka jariya, right? So that has to be kept in mind. You need to keep putting in the effort. The numbers, the results, all is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was not difficult for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Nuh alayhi salam 1 million followers. The fact that he didn't have those 1 million followers is reflective of uh, the fact that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to give you the followers. You yourself do not have much control over it. You just have the power or the ability to convey the message. And then what happened? وَنَصَرْنَاهُ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. And we aided him. We gave him success over people who denied our signs by safely embarking him on the ship. And when the flood came, the ship didn't sink. Rest of the people, they drowned. Story finished. Nuh alayhi salam, his family, and the believers, they reached the shore, and when everything subsided, they started a new life. Innahum kanu qawma sawin. They were bad people, right? They were people of evil. فَأَغْرَقْنَاهُمْ. So we drowned them all, ajmain, all of them. وَدَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ. And mention Dawood and Suleiman, إِذْ يَحْكُمَانِ فِي الْحَرْثِ. when they judged concerning the field. So we know that Dawood alayhi salam was the father, Sulaiman alayhi salam was the son, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave both of them the dominion. They both were the kings, right? And they also were given the ability to decide between people, to execute justice, right? So there was this particular case, and people came and they spoke about their hearth, yani their field. إذ نفشت فيه غنم القوم, when the sheep of a people overran it. وَكُنَّا لِحُكْمِهِمْ شَاهِدِينَ, and we were the witness to their judgment. So what happened, that a man came and he complained that this person's sheep ate my, or destroyed my field, my crops. So Dawood alayhi salam ended up giving uh, the judgment that all the sheeps will now belong to to the person whose field was destroyed, right? So he has the right to take all the fields. But Sulaiman alayhi salam made a different judgment. He said, no, you can keep the you can keep the sheep, and the other person who is required to regrow his field, his crops, and work on his crops, and as long as, yeah, or whenever the crops are ready, he's going to get his sheeps back, right? And meanwhile, this other person, they can um make use of whatever the milk that the sheep are giving, and anything that can be of use from those sheep, right? So this judgment was something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala endorsed. فَفَهَمْنَاهَا سُلَيْمَانَ, and we gave understanding of it to Sulaiman. Even when the understanding was given, it was given by Allah, right? So Sulaiman made a better decision. وَكُلًّا, on all of them, آتَيْنَا حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا, we gave judgment and knowledge, right? All of them were given, every prophet was given judgment and knowledge. Judgment, uh, knowledge is needed to make right judgment, right? So these two go hand in hand. And even if all the prophets had it, they had it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you want it, we can make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَسَخَّرْنَا مَعَ دَاوُودَ الْجِبَالَ يُسَبِّحْنَا وَالطَّيْرِ, and we subjected the mountains to exalt along with Dawood, and also the bird. وَكُنَّا فَاعِلِينَ, and we were doing that. So what we understand from this is that Dawood alayhi salam, he had like a very soothing voice. So he would do tasbih, and along with him, the jibal and the birds, the mountains and the birds, they would also do tasbih. I mean, how that happens, how do jibal do tasbih? Allahu alam. Elsewhere in Quran, we learn that the birds and everything do the tasbih of Allah, but we are unable to understand the language. وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ صَنْعَةَ لَبُوسٍ لَكُمْ, and we taught him the fashioning of coats of armor to protect you, or for you, li tuhsinakum min basikum, to protect you from your battle, right? So he could do the coats of armor, so that he could save his people during the battle time. So what the coats of armors are, like a protective sheet of um, made of iron or copper, God knows, but it is there to save you. It's like a shield to protect your body, right? It's a bulletproof shield, although we did not have bullet back in those days. Fahal antum shakirun? Are you going to be grateful? Yeah, you remember? That's what all the blessings have been given to you, so that you can exercise gratitude. Wali Sulaiman, and what we did for Sulaiman, a the wind, ayasifatan, blowing forcefully, right? Asif, we usually have names in Urdu, which is like slightly concerning for me. Asif is with Alif is perhaps, with Alif and Saad is perhaps okay. Asif is concerning. Asifa is also concerning, but Allahu Alam. Tajri bi amrihi. The proceeding by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, proceeding by his command and the command of Sulaiman alayhi salam, then he had the power to navigate the winds إلى الأرض التي باركنا فيها, towards the land which we had blessed. وكنا بكل شيء عالمين, and we are ever of all things knowing. ومن الشياطين, and of the devils, من يغوصون له ويعلمون عملا دون ذلك were those who dived for him and did work other than that. وَكُنَّا لَهُمْ حَافِظِينَ, and we were of them a guardian. Right? So shayateen were also in the yani, Sulaiman alayhi salam also had the power over shayateen, and he would make them yani the shayateen do the work, right? So he kept all of them busy in construction work and in different form of works. وأيوب, and mention Ayub alayhi salam إذ نادى ربه, when he called to his Lord, أني مسني الضر, indeed, adversity has touched me. وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ, and you are the most merciful. So, my people, Ayub alayhi salam was another blessed prophet, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him all sorts of wealth and children and dominion and crops and trees and fruits and gardens and whatnot. But there came a point when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him, he was being tested big time. Right? So all of his properties were, and all of what he owned was destroyed, right? And there came a point where he was only left with his wife because he developed this skin condition that nobody could come close to him, right? And the only one left was his wife, and the wife would serve him and so on and so forth. So, just look at the way this is so beautiful, how how the prophets are complaining of their misery. He's not even saying, Allah, you did this to me, right? So it's like passive voice. Ya Rab, this adversity has touched me. He's not saying, Ya Allah, you put me into that. I'm so angry with you. And then he says, Ya Rab, you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. Do something, right? And he doesn't even say do something. I'm saying, subhanallah, sometimes I find it so fascinating the way prophets complained to Allah. There was so much adab even in those complaints, right? فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ, so we responded to him. فَكَشَفْنَا مَا بِهِ مِنْ ضُرٍّ, and to remove what afflicted him of adversity. There came a point when all those adversity was being taken away from him, and this also always happened. Whatever challenge and test and torment we are being tested with, there comes a point where, khalas, it ends. Nothing remains forever, neither good times nor bad times. Salat tilka ayyam. These are the days nudawilu. Yani we keep changing, we keep circulating. One, adversity comes, good days, then adversity comes, good days come, and it keeps on going like this. وآتيناه أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة من عندنا وذكرى للعابدين, and we gave him back his family and the like thereof with them as mercy from us and a reminder for the worshipper of Allah. وإسماعيل وإدريس وذا الكفل, and mention Ismail and Idris and ذو الكفل. كل من الصابرين, all of them were patient. One quality, my people. There was صابرين. وأدخلناهم في رحمتنا, and we admitted them into our mercy. إنهم من الصالحين, indeed they were of the righteous. وذنون, and mention the man of fish. إذ ذهب مغاضبا, when he went off in anger. فظن أن لن نقدر عليه, and thought that we would not decree anything upon him. فنادى في الظلمات, but he called out within the darkness, Allah ilaha illa ant, there is no deity except you. Subhanak, exalted are you, inni kuntum min zalimin, indeed I have been of the wrongdoers. So we know that it is the sunnah of Allah that Allah commands the Prophet to leave a city when he has done his job to the best of his ability. Right? So let's say Lut alayhi salam, he did his job to the best of his ability. People did not respond. Allah said, leave the city. I'm going to destroy the city. Take the example of Nuh alayhi salam. He did his job to the best possible way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, leave the city. I'm going to destroy it, right? Or leave the city, or embark on that ship, whatever the case may be. But the job was done, right? What happened with Yunus alayhi salam is that he perceived that the job is done and he left without the command of Allah. Now, if you look at it, perhaps it's not a big deal. I mean, that was about to come anyway. But when Yunus alayhi salam left without the permission of Allah, What happened is that people behind, they repented. They did istighfar. And the adab was averted from those people. And what happened that Yunus alayhi salam himself got into trouble. He embarked a ship, and there came a point that, the ship got stuck in a storm. And that storm was such that, they needed to offload something from the ship in order to make sure that the ship keeps sailing. And there are certain versions of it, we learned that uh, some people said that there's a person of bad omen in the ship, or some people said that, whatever the case may be, they had to offload a person, right? Someone had to had to disembark, someone had to leave. And they did lot three times. First time, Yunus alayhi salam's name came. Second time, Yunus alayhi salam's name came. Third time, Yunus alayhi salam's name came, and there came a point like, Khalas, Yunus, you have to be thrown into the water. And it wasn't that he fell into the water, and you normally you die within a few, perhaps minutes, if not hours. Then, subhanallah, he was swallowed by a whale. And that was perhaps more torturous because he was inside the tummy of the whale, and you can imagine all the foul smell and the darkness and the difficulty of breathing and whatnot. And that's where, nobody could understand, nobody could ever find him out, nobody could ever imagine that he was alive. Only Allah knew. My people, sometimes we are in such darkness in our lives. We can't tell our parents, we can't tell our spouses, we can't tell our family, we can't tell no one, can't even tell a therapist sometimes. Because sometimes we are so overwhelmed, we don't know how to tell what we are going through, or we have gone through so much that it takes a lot of energy for us to regurgitate that what we have gone through, right? This is where you have to tell Allah how much, just this much. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. I messed up, Ya Rab. You are subhan, you are exalted. I messed up, Ya Rab. And sometimes we think that we are such victims. Nobody, everyone is so bad, and circumstances have been such that I'm stuck in these circumstances. I cannot come out of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to come out of this mentality, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you definitely take ownership of your problem and come out of it. Do something about it. So he accepts, I am the Ghalam, Ya Allah, you do something for me. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to him. وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْغَمِّ. And we saved him from the distress. وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِي الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And thus do we save the believers. وَذَكَرِيَّا. And mention Zakariya إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ. When he called to his Lord, رَبِّي لَا تَذَرْنِي فَرْضًا. My Lord, do not leave me alone. وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْوَارِثِينَ. And you are the best of inheritors. So did he not have anyone else? No family, no wife, no siblings? No, he had people. But when do you fear to be left alone is when you don't have an heir, right? So you want a son, and not necessarily to take care of your property, but to take care of your deen. And that's what he prayed for. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to his prayer. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. And we responded to him. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ يَحْيَى. And we gave him Yahya. وَأَصْلَحْنَا لَهُ زَوْجَهُ. And amended for him his wife. So, of course, the wife was banned. The wife was told that you cannot have a child. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fixed the wife for him. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. What was the commonality among all these prophets? What was the good thing? What was one common character, or a few common characteristics in these prophets? يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. They used to hasten to do good deeds. It wasn't like, jao tum pani pila do. You go get water for mom. You do this, you do that. خلاص, they really, really made sure that we get the job done, and we get the job done quickly. وَيَدْعُونَنَا رَغَبًا وَرَهْبًا. And supplicate us in hope and fear, right? So they always establish the connection with Allah. People, human being is either in the state of hope, either they're feeling good about the future, they're hopeful, they are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, or they are fearful, they're anxious. They're just two states. You cannot think of another state, generally speaking. And in both the states, and these two states encompass all conceivable human emotions, right? Hope and fear. Both these days they would call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wa kanu lana khashi'in, and they were for us very submissive. وَالَّتِي أَحْصَنَتْ فَرْجَهَا, and mention the one who guarded her chastity. Who was she? Maryam, salamun alayha. فَنَفَخْنَا فِيهَا مِن رُوحِنَا, so we blew into her through our angel. وَجَعَلْنَا وَجَعَلْنَاهَا, and we made her, وَابْنَهَا, we made her and her son, آيَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, a sign for the worlds. That the child did not come through a natural process. The child was a miracle. Isa alayhi salam was a miracle. His birth was a miracle, right? No, him himself wasn't a miracle. Wouldn't be a good thing. Wouldn't be a right thing to say. His birth was a miracle. In هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة. Indeed, this is your religion, one religion. وأنا ربكم, and I am your Lord. فاعبدون, to worship me. So all the stories have been summarized that Allah is the Rabb of all these prophets and the Rabb of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the Rabb of this Ummah. Do what? Submit to Allah. وَتَقَطَّعُوا أَمْرَهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ, but they divided their affair, right? They divided their religion among themselves. كُلٌّ إِلَيْنَا رَاجِعُونَ, but all to us will return. Where are they going to go at the end of the day? فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِنَ الصَّالِحَاتِ, and whoever does righteous deeds while he's a believer, my apologies, and whoever does righteous deeds وهو مؤمن, and he's a believer, فلا كفران لسعيه, so there'll be no denial for his effort. Yani anyone who does a good deed and he's a mu'min, he is going to be rewarded in this world and the next world. His efforts will not be wasted, even though you do not see a direct, immediate result of your efforts. You're a very dedicated mom, but you don't see anything amazing happening in your life. You're a very dedicated daughter-in-law, but the in-laws, they don't acknowledge your efforts. You are a you're a very dedicated teacher, but your students still don't value you. My people, you do not get immediate results of your efforts. But at the same time, those efforts are not wasted. You tend to get delayed results of those efforts sometimes. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to wait for those results. Because the efforts are never wasted. We want the immediate result, immediate acknowledgement, immediate endorsement of everything that we do. Khalas, take a break. It will come. It will come in its own time. وَإِنَّ لَهُ كَاتِبُونَ, and we are of it recorders. Yani the angels are recording your efforts. Why are you getting worried? وَحَرَامٌ عَلَى قَرْيَةٍ, and it is prohibited to the people of a city, أَهْلَكْنَاهَا, which we have destroyed, أَنَّهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ, that they will never return. حَتَّى إِذَا فُتِحَتْ يَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ, until when the dam of Yajuj and Majuj uh, will be opened. وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ هَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ, and they, from every elevation, they will be descending. So we studied about Ya'juj and Majuj just in Surah Kahf. وَاقْتَرَبَ الْوَعْدُ, and when the true promise has approached, وَعْدُ الْحَقِّ, when the true promise has approached, فَإِذَا هِيَ شَاخِصَةٌ أَبْصَارُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, then the eyes of those who believed will suddenly be staring in horror. Ya wailana, oh woe to us, destruction be to us. When do you curse yourself? When you know that you have messed up and there's no way out and it's too late to regret. قَدْ كُنَّا فِي غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ هَذَا, we had been unmindful of this. We were in ghafla. We did not pay attention. We were heedless. بل كنا ظالمين, rather we were the wrongdoers. إنكم وما تعبدون من دون الله, indeed you and what you worship other than Allah, حسب جهنم, are the firewood of hell. أنتم لها واردون, you will be coming to enter it. لو كان هؤلاء آلهة ما, had these false deities been actually God, ma waraduha, they would not have come to it. Wa kullun fiha khalidun, but all are eternal therein. Lahum fiha is zafirun, for them is heavy sighing. Wahum fiha la yasma'un, and they therein will not be heard. Sometimes, when a person is breathing very heavily, you're not able to listen to anything else other than that heavy breath. And it is said about Jahannam that the zafir, the heavy sighing of Jahannam will be, may Allah protect us, inna ladina sabaqat, indeed those for whom سبقت لهم منا الحسنى. Indeed, for those whom the best has preceded from us. أولئك عنها مبعدون, and they are from it removed. لا يسمعون حسيسها, they will not hear its sound. وهم and they are مشتهت أنفسهم خالدون, in what their souls desire, abiding eternally. Yani, what your soul desires is such a such a heartwarming expression. Whatever you want. In terms of reward, my people, you want something different, I want something different. My daughter wants something different, my son wants something different. So whenever it is said about Jannah, it is going to have that the Jannah is going to have whatever you wish for, the person that you want to meet, the person you want to have long conversations with, the person you or the things that you ever cherish, you wanted to have in this world, couldn't have it for various reasons. You're going to have it in Jannah. لا يحزنهم الفزع الأكبر. They will not be grieved by the greatest terror. وَتَتَلَقَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ, and the angels will be meeting them, saying, what will the angels be saying? هَذَا يَوْمُكُمُ الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. This is your day, which you have been promised, my people. Your graduation day. Here's your graduation hat. You forget all the, if any one of you has experienced the graduation day, you would know that every single trouble, all those assignments and the papers and the rejections and the C grades and the do it again, you'll forget. You forget all of that pain on the day of your graduation. Similarly, when the child is born, the child is in your hand, your baby is in your hands, you forget all that you went through, the labor, the pain, the screams, all that you went through just a while ago. You just forget, oh, my baby. Such is going to be the day that we enter the Jannah. We'll forget all the troubles and the pains and the misery of this world. يوم نطوي السماء كطي السجل للكتب. The day we will fold the heaven like the folding of a written sheet for the records. If you have ever seen, when you fold the sheet to make it a roll. كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيده. As we begin the first creation, we will repeat it. We can do it again. وَعْدًا عَلَيْنَا. It is a promise binding upon us. إِنَّا كُنَّا فَاعِلِينَ. Indeed, we are going to be doing it. وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ. And we have already written in the book of Psalms. Yani, this is what Dawud alayhi salam was given. من بعد الذكر, after the mention, أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون, that the land of paradise is inherited by my righteous servants. So no one else will be allowed to go. There is no other passport, there is no other entry ticket other than Salih A'mal, righteous deeds. إن في هذا, indeed in this Quran, uh, لبلاغا لقوم عابدين is a notification for worshipping people. وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين, and we have not sent you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, except as a mercy to the worlds. قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد. Say, it is only revealed to me that your God is but one God. فهل أنتم مسلمون? So will you be Muslims? Will you be submitting to him? فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا, but if they return, or if they turn away, فَقُلْ, then say, then declare, آذَنْتُكُمْ عَلَى سَوَاءٍ, I have announced to you of equally. I've told all of you this equally. وإن أدري, and I don't know, أقريب أم بعيد ما توعدون, whether it is near or far that which you are promised, يعني the Qiyamah. I don't know whether it is close or whether it is away. إنه يعلم الجهر من القول ويعلم ما تكتمون. Indeed, he knows what is declared of speech, and he knows what you conceal. وإن أدري, and I don't know, لعله فتنة لكم, perhaps it's a trial for you, ومتاع إلى حين, and an enjoyment for a time. قال. Okay, this is my apologies. The translation on this slide is messed up, so I'm just going to be uh, translating it off the top of my head. قال, he said, ربحكم بالحق. Ya Rab, make justice or do the justice بالحق, with with righteousness, with the truth, right? Or just command them with haqq. وَرَبُّنَا وَرَبُّنَا الرَّحْمَن, and our Lord is Rahman al-Musta'an ala ma tasifun. He is responding, or he is um, the one who responds ala ma tasifun, to what you are explaining, to what you are saying. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. All right, my people, that's it from my